Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Alright, wait for this laptop to do its thing, y'all. So I bring YouTube on. Y'all enjoy your extra day of rest. Well, hopefully you got to rest. Hopefully you got to rest. The devil telling it. Okay. Computer takes forever to boot up. Alright, there we go. Let's do this. Store pages and the store. Let's do it. Alright, y'all, I'm getting this going. Okay. YouTube. Robert, let's wobble. Trina, let's wobble. Hey girl, hey. Okay. Here we go. It's hot down here. My glass is fogging up. Okay. I think it's a body coming from me. It's really getting hot down here. Lavon, blessings, blessings. What is this thing? Yes. Play, public, yes. Okay. Alright, y'all. There we go. YouTube just takes a few minutes to get going. But we are live. It's rolling now. Okay, it's countdown. Alright, y'all. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Betwabu. Shalom. Shalom. Alright, y'all. Today it is Saturday, September the 18th, 2021, day 262 of year 3 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. Another 3-year consecutive day count, day 931. Today we're reading Zechariah 5, 6, and 7, and we're going to pick up where we left off at in Caesar's Messiah in chapter 6 on page 163. All right, let's see. What is this? Shema. Alright, y'all, remember the Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Remember, we started verse 3, but remember, go back and read the full chapter. I just pulled out the meat potatoes. Peace and blessings out of y'all. Yeah, actually, we alright. It's just been raining a lot here, but not as bad as it was a couple weeks ago. We just got like some light rain here yesterday. I mean, it was bad thunderstorms a couple weeks ago, but, you know, yeah. Virginia, well, at least over here in Chesapeake, it's all right. It just drizzled a little bit yesterday, you know. All right, y'all. But I hope everybody is safe wherever y'all are, and because I know some places are getting some bad weather, so y'all keep it safe. Everybody be safe out there. Yes, praise the Most High for watching over his. Yes, and amen. All right, y'all. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily as Yahuwah, the mighty one of our fathers, has promised us in a land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your mighty one, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. Hold on, I don't have this fan on. I am sweating. It ain't hot down here, but I just said it got hot. Alright. Let's pull this up. Zechariah. Alright, y'all. Zechariah chapter 5. See my glasses? It ain't hot, but I'm hot. My body heat keeps fogging up my glasses. Oh my goodness. Because I can feel it. It's cold down here, but I'm hot. Okay. Let's see. Adjust the screen. Okay. Alright, Zechariah chapter 5. A flying scroll. I looked up again and saw a flying scroll through the air. What do you see? The angel asked. I see a flying scroll, I replied. It appears to be about 30 feet long and 15 feet wide. Then he said to me, this scroll contains the curse that is going out over the entire land. One side of the scroll says that those who steal will be banished from the land. The other side says that those who swear falsely will be banished from the land. And this is what Yahuwah, the God of heaven's army, says. I am sending a curse into the house of every thief and every house of everyone who swears falsely using my name. And my curse will remain in that house and completely destroy it, even its timbers and stones. A woman in the basket. Then the angel who was talking with me came forward and said, look up and see what's coming. What is it? I asked. He replied, it is a basket for measuring grain, and it is filled with the sins of everyone throughout the land. Then the heavy lead cover was lifted off the basket, and there was a woman sitting inside it. The angel said, the woman's name is Wickedness, and he pushed her back into the basket and closed the heavy lid again. Then I looked up and saw two women flying toward us, gliding on the wind. They had wings like a stork, and they picked up the basket and flew into the sky. Where are they taking the basket? I asked the angel. He replied, to the land of Babylonia, where they will build a temple for the basket. And when the temple is ready, they will set the basket there on its pedestal. All right, y'all. Zechariah chapter 6. Adiah, shalom, shalom. 4 chariots. Then I looked up again and saw 4 chariots coming between 2 bronze mountains. The first chariot was pulled by red horses, the second by black horses, the third by white horses, and the fourth by powerful, dappled gray horses. And what are these, my lord? I asked the angel who was talking with me. The angel replied, these are the 4 spirits of heaven who stand before Yahuwah, the God of all the earth. They are going out to do his work. The chariot with black horses is going north. The chariot with white horses is going west. The chariot with dappled gray horses is going south. The powerful horses were eager to set out to patrol the earth. And Yahuwah said, go and patrol the earth. So they left at once on their patrol. Then Yahuwah summoned me and said, look, those who went north have vented the anger of my spirit there in the land of the north. The crowning of Jeshua. Then I received another message from Yahuwah. Heldai, Tobiah, and Jedediah will bring gifts of silver and gold from the Jews exiled in Babylon. As soon as they arrive, meet them at the home of Josiah, son of Zephaniah. Accept their gifts and make a crown from silver and gold. Then put the crown on the head of Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Tell him, This is what Yahuwah, the God of heaven's army, says. Here is the man called the branch. He will branch out from where he is and build the temple of Yahuwah. Yes, he will build the temple of Yahuwah. Then he will receive royal honor and will rule as king from his throne. He will also serve as priest from his throne. And there will be perfect harmony between his two roles. The crown will be a memorial in the temple of Yahuwah to honor those who gave it, Heldai, Tobijah, Jedediah, and Josiah, son of Zephaniah. People will come from distant lands to rebuild the temple, and when this happens, you will know that my messages have been from Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. All of this will happen if you carefully obey what Yahuwah, your God, says. Last chapter for today is Zechariah chapter 7. A call to justice and mercy. On December 7th of the 4th year of King Darius' reign, another message came to Zechariah from Yahuwah. The people of Bethel have sent Sherezer and Rigamelech along with their attendants to seek Yahuwah's favor. They were to ask this question of the prophets and the priests at the temple of Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. Should we continue to mourn and fast each summer on the anniversary of the temple's destruction, as we have done for so many years? Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, sent me this message in reply. Say to all your people and your priests, during these 70 years of exile, when you fasted and mourned in the summer and in early autumn, was it really for me that you were fasting? And even now in your holy festivals, aren't you eating and drinking just to please yourselves? Isn't this the same message Yahuwah proclaimed through the prophets in years past when Jerusalem and the towns of Judah were bustling with people, and the Negev and the foothills of Judah were well populated? Then this message came to Zechariah from Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah, the God of heaven's army, says. Judge fairly and show mercy and kindness to one another. Do not oppress widows, orphans, foreigners, and the poor, and do not scheme against each other. Your ancestors refused to listen to this message. They stubbornly turned away and put their fingers in their ears to keep from hearing. They made their hearts as hard as stone, so they could not hear the instructions or the messages that Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, had sent them by his Spirit through the earlier prophets. That is why Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, was so angry with them. Since they refused to listen when I called to them, I would not listen when they called to me, says Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. As a whirlwind, I scattered them among the distant nations where they lived as strangers. Their land became so desolate that no one even traveled through it. They turned their pleasant land into a desert. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. That was Zechariah 5, 6, and 7. Let's go ahead and hop on over here. And excuse my little sniffles, y'all. I've been had little sniffles and stuff, so I've been loading up on all my concoctions. And so vitamin C and zinc and some everything I got, I've been taking, right? Oh my gosh, look, my body temperature keeps going up. I mean, I haven't taken my temperature, but I keep getting hot. Hold on. Yeah, see, my glasses keep fogging up. I got the fan on. The AC is on. So, you know, I don't know that I have a temperature. Like, I feel all right. I don't think I have a temperature, but I don't know. I could, because I can feel the heat. I can feel the heat from my body, y'all. So it's probably burning up some stuff. Like, see this? See this? Which I expect, because of some of the stuff I take, it'll help burn stuff away if something is present. Hold on. This head wrap ain't making it no better. I'm ready to snatch it off my head as soon as I get done. It's coming off. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's stop on page 63. Okay. So we were... What did we talk about? Oh, okay. Eleazar and Lazarus, chapter 6. Okay, it's going through the differences between the characters. Okay. I just had to refresh myself real quick. Like, what was we talking about? Okay. So we pause on page 163 at the last paragraph at the bottom. Okay. When the elements of the passage below regarding the magical root are viewed as a group, a picture emerges. The passage describes a single plant that was called sun, which had been around since the time of Herod and had a magical power to drive out demons. This sun would have lasted longer, except that those Jews cut it down. What other than a satire of Jesus could this passage be? As the passage contained clear parallels to the one above, describing an Eleazar who also dispels demons using a magical rue, R-U-E, it was written to connect Eleazar to the other son who exorcised demons, that is, Jesus. Quote, now within this place there grew a sort of rue that deserves our wonder on account of its largeness, for it was no way inferior to any fig tree whatsoever, either in height or in thickness, and the report is that it had lasted ever since the times of Herod, would probably have lasted much longer had it not been cut down by those Jews who took possession of the place afterward. But still, in that valley which encompasses the city on the north side, there is a certain place called Baris, which produces a root of the same name with itself. It is only valuable on account of one virtue it hath, that if it only brought to sick persons, it quickly drives away those called demons, which are no other than the spirits of the wicked that enter into men that are alive and kill them, unless they can obtain some help against them. End quote, and that's reference number 94. Excuse me. The passage above from the Wars of the Jews describing the magical root Baris, B-A-A-R-A-S, Baris, is immediately followed by a passage regarding yet another Eleazar from an eminent family. This Eleazar is a transparent parallel to Jesus, as he survives both a scourging of his naked flesh. What in the world? Hold on, y'all. YouTube just completely went out. My laptop is still on. What? Sheesh. What happened? Is this finally the day that it conks out on me? I be waiting till the last minute to upgrade my stuff already, y'all. Oh my gosh. What? Okay. Shayla. It just went off. Hold on. Hold on. It's coming back up? What in the world? It just went out. I ain't do anything. Hey girl, hey. Hold on. YouTube is gone. Let YouTube know. Hold on. Can they see? Okay. Your connection is unstable. Just flashed out. Now we came back in. Chat disconnected, please. Success. Can y'all see me? Am I back? Okay, I see the time running. Shayla, check it out for me. Hold on. Let me see. Not yet. Okay, so the time is still running up. I can do me a favor, Shayla. Put the Facebook link over there for me. It says the chat was disconnected. Then it says it was successfully connected back. Still spinning? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just end it. I'm going to end it and I'll start it over. And I'm going to have to upload the video from Facebook today. Let me just do this. No? Okay. Hold on. I'm just going to end it. Hold on. I'm going to end this and start over. Okay. Yeah, because this, if it does this, it's just going to keep doing this. And I think the best way to handle this is like I did before, just end it. So, boom. Ended it. Yes. Leave. Just started over. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate when that happens. I don't know. My whole screen went out, so I'm not sure necessarily that it was YouTube that did it. But then my screen came back up. It's weird. I do know I need to upgrade, but I didn't think it was on its last leg. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I ain't cheap. I'm frugal, though. I don't like to go purchase stuff when I don't need to. Hold on. But I will. Hold on. I do. I try to wait. Even when they have new upgrades for phones and stuff, I try to wait till they get all the kinks out of their upgrades and stuff, because it's always something. Then you have to keep upgrading. So I just like to wait until it seemed like they done enough upgrades, and then I will. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was YouTube or my laptop this time. My whole screen went blank. What does this say? Yeah, it's still doing it. Oh, okay. There we go. 9. Okay. I got it going. Shayla, let me know. It says you're live. I see the time rolling. Hold on. I think we may be good. See? Let's see. 2. Okay. I'll wait for somebody to respond to see if they can see me. Yes, you see me? Okay, sweet. Okay, Shayla. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I wasn't sure if it was YouTube or my laptop with the glitching this time. Shalom, Mom. HTC. Use abbreviation. I probably should use abbreviation. I don't know. We'll see. Hold on, y'all. I need to turn my fan up. I want to guzzle some water, but if I drink some water, cool my body temperature down, y'all, then I'll be belching and stuff. That's why I try to only take a sip of water. All right. Okay. So I'll say JC when I see his name. We'll see. Okay. Okay, we ended the quote. Okay. I think it went off after I ended the quote. You know what? You got a point there. Aliyah say don't use JC, but he spelled it out because anyone using JC gets their pages shut down now. I noticed that, which is probably why some of my hashtags causes all them to start messing with my video. Anything that has JC in it, they start screwing with it, right? So I'm just like, I'm like, whatever. Okay, I'm trying to stay up here as long as possible and get the truth. I'm going to use code words, y'all, so I don't know. Okay, back to the reading. Sorry for the little disruption, people. The passage above from Wars of the Jews describing the magical root berries is immediately followed by a passage regarding yet another Eleazar from an eminent family. This Eleazar is a transparent parallel to JC, as he survives both a scourging of his naked flesh and a crucifixion. Quote, here's a long quote too. The Romans, when they came upon the others' sallies against their banks, they foresaw their coming and were upon their guard when they received them. But the conclusion of this siege did not depend upon these bickerings, but a certain surprising accident relating to what was done in this siege forced the Jews to surrender the citadel. There was a certain young man among the besieged of great boldness and very active of his hand. His name was Eleazar. He greatly signalized himself in those sallies and encouraged the Jews to go out in great numbers in order to hinder the raising of the banks, and did the Romans a vast deal of mischief when they came to fighting. So he managed matters that those who sallied out made their attacks easily and returned back without danger, and this by still bringing up the rear himself. Now it happened that on a certain time, when the fight was over and both sides were parted and retired home, he in way of contempt of the enemy, and thinking that none of them would begin the fight again at that time, stayed without the gates and talked with those that were upon the wall, and his mind was wholly intent upon what they said. Now a certain person belonging to the Roman camp, whose name was Rufus, by birth an Egyptian, ran upon him suddenly when nobody expected such a thing, and carried him off with his armor itself, while in the meantime those that saw it from the wall were under such an amazement that Rufus prevented their assistance, and carried Eleazar to the Roman camp. So the general of the Romans ordered that he should be taken up naked, set before the city to be seen, and sorely whipped before their eyes. Upon this sad accident that befell the young man, the Jews were terribly confounded, and the city with one voice sorely lamented him, and the mourning proved greater than could well be supposed upon the calamity of a single person. End quote, and that's reference 95. The following part of the passage is notable as it is a satirical description of the rationale that led to the creation of Christianity. The Romans, seeing the love that the Jewish rebels held for their Messiah, decided to use this attachment to their own advantage. That is, they decided to create a Roman Messiah. This passage is directly linked to the New Testament story of JC's capture on the Mount of Olives. Quote, when Bassus perceived that, he began to think of using a stratagem against the enemy, and was desirous to aggravate their grief in order to prevail with them to surrender the city for the preservation of that man. Nor did he fail of his hope, for he commanded them to set up a cross, as if he were just going to hang Eleazar upon it immediately. The sight of this occasioned a sore grief among those that were in the citadel, and they groaned vehemently and cried out that they could not bear to see him thus destroyed. Whereupon Eleazar bought them not to disregard him, now he was going to suffer a most miserable death, and exhorted them to save themselves by yielding to the Roman power and good fortune, since they now conquered all other people. These men were greatly moved with what he said, there being also many within the city that interceded for him, because he was of an eminent and very numerous family. So now they yielded to their passion of commiseration, contrary to their usual custom. Accordingly, they sent out immediately certain messengers and treated with the Romans in order to arrange a surrender of the citadel to them, and desired that they might be permitted to go away and take Eleazar along with them. Then did the Romans and their general accept of these terms. End quote. That's reference 96. Another linking of JC and Eleazar, or Lazarus, occurs in the New Testament. After describing Lazarus' resurrection, the Gospel of John states that the high priest plotted against him. This parallel is transparent as it occurs within the same passage where the high priest plot against JC. But the high priest plotted to put Lazarus to death also. End quote. And that's reference 97. So the wars of the Jews in the New Testament both describe characters named Eleazar, who have the JC-like attributes of having been born in Galilee, having the power to dispel demons, and having been plotted against by the high priest, having been scourged, having survived a crucifixion, and having risen from the dead. These Eleazars are the only individuals within these works with so many of JC's attributes. However, to learn that Eleazar was the real Christ, the authors of Josephus and the New Testament required the reader to first solve the following two puzzles. The first puzzle reveals that Eleazar was captured on the Mount of Olives. To solve the puzzle, one must first recognize that the following passage, in which Josephus gives his version of a capture on Mount of Olives, is parallel to the passage above that described an Eleazar who was scourged and escaped death from crucifixion. The following is the complete text of Josephus's Mount of Olives capture. What's that?
I think it's funny doing the one
Okay. What? This? Okay. Quote, now after one day had been interposed since the Romans ascended the branch, many of the seditious were so pressed by the famine upon the present failure of their ravages that they got together and made an attack on those Roman guards that were upon the Mount of Olives. The Romans were apprised of their coming to attack them beforehand, and running together from neighboring camps on the sudden prevented them from getting over their fortification. And one whose name was Pedanius, belonging to a party of horsemen, when the Jews were already beaten and forced down into the valley together, spurred his horse on their flank with great vehemence, and caught up a certain young man belonging to the enemy by his ankles, as he was running away. The man was, however, of a robust body, and in his armor so low. The man was, however, of a robust body, and in his armor so low did Pedanius bend himself downward from his horse, even as he was galloping away, and so great was the strength of his right hand and the rest of his body, as also such skill had he in horsemanship. So this man seized upon that his prey as upon a precious treasure, and carried him as his captive to Caesar, whereupon Titus admired the man that had seized the other for his great strength, and ordered that the man that was caught to be punished, and ordered the man that was caught to be punished with death for his attempt against the Roman wall. End quote. Boy, this is one huge run-on sentence. This incident took place on the Mount of Olives, the location the New Testament gives for JC's capture. As I had seen that the New Testament and Wars of the Jews often shared conceptually parallel events at the same locations, I attempted to analyze the two passages to determine if they might also be related. I first noticed that there is a parallel between the two Mount of Olives captures in terms of the relative time when they occur. The New Testament's capture takes place immediately before JC, the symbolic temple of the New Testament, is destroyed. The Mount of Olives capture in Wars of the Jews likewise takes place immediately before the destruction of the temple. However, whereas the identity of the man who was captured on the Mount of Olives in the New Testament is well known, in Josephus's version, the captured individual is described only as a certain young man. I wonder if it might be possible, as I had with the demoniacs of Gadara, to learn the name of this certain young man. It was during the effort to determine this that the way in which the New Testament and Wars of the Jews use parallelism to identify their unnamed characters finally became clear to me. This use of parallelism came directly from the Hebrew Bible, and, in a sense, its use in the New Testament was to be expected, as the authors of the New Testament borrowed concepts such as the Exodus, the Passover lamb, and the Messiah. It was logical for them to copy its use of intertextual parallels as well. The Hebrew Bible was structured as an organic whole and can be thought of as a series of as a series of concentric circles with some interlocking rings, as Friedman puts it. For instance, the Torah and the book of Joshua, which together form the what? Hexateuch, Hexateuch, okay, have an overall mirror image literary structure in which the main themes of the book from Genesis up to Exodus 33 are then mirrored in parallel structures in the books from Exodus 34 to Joshua 34. The creators of the Hebrew Bible also used structural parallels at a micro level. For instance, in a technique known as pedimental composition, two passages that contain many parallels are used to provide a literary frame by sandwiching a third central passage between them. For example, Leviticus 18 and 20 provide such a frame for the central passage in Leviticus 19. The consequence of these traditional literary techniques is that the Jewish reader does not read a text in what might be thought of as a rational, straightforward, and linear manner. On the contrary, the Jewish reading is intertextual. The use of similar phrasing, formulas, places, clothing, and so on are used to create layers of associative meaning as contrast and to provide continuity and color. In some cases, the authors create what Robert Alter has called type scenes. So, for example, Abraham's servant meeting a young woman by a well is then later paralleled by Moses meeting a young woman by a well, and the reader is invited to contemplate the similarities, differences, and continuities. In Hebrew literature, these typological relationships are a source of open-ended speculation and debate. To the Romans, this perhaps seemed part of the barbarous mysticism that provoked the Jewish zealots to revolt, so they improved the nature of their parallels in the New Testament from the open-ended types found within the Hebrew canon to ones that were very precise in their logical and chronological relationships and in the identities that they reveal. The authors of the Gospels were very aware of the typology in Hebraic literature and were, in effect, showing that they were able to produce a more perfect, more complex form of it. Moreover, there was a profound irony in the authors requiring the Gospels and Wars of the Jews to be read in a manner of Judaic literature in order to learn that they had created a false Judaism. The insight that Josephus was using typological parallels occurred when I noticed that Josephus's tale regarding the capture of the unnamed certain young man on the Mount of Olives is parallel to another passage within the Wars of the Jews, the passage above, in which Eleazar is whipped and escapes crucifixion. Josephus identifies the two stories as being parallel by having each passage tell the same story, their only difference being in location, and that the certain young man is unnamed in the Mount of Olives version. For clarification, I present the following list of parallels between the two passages. In each, besieged Jews are encircled by a wall. In each, the Jews attack the siege wall. In each, the Romans foresee the attack. In each, a Jew is literally carried away by a single Roman in a manner that is physically impossible. In each, the man who is carried away is in his armor. Within the works of Josephus, there are thousands of passages. These are the only two that share these parallel characteristics. Josephus thus notified the prospective reader, that is, the reader with a good memory, that the two stories are parallel. Further, there is a simple point of logic that the authors require the reader to apprehend. That is, being that since the passages are parallel, the unnamed certain young man who is carried away in one must have the same name as the certain young man named Eleazar who has the same experience in another. The passages are also the start of a satiric theme that Josephus and the New Testament develop regarding the Messiah who was captured on the Mount of Olives. This theme, which I refer to as the root and branch, begins with the last sentence in the passage above from the Wars of the Jews. Notice that the translator, William Winston, places brackets around the words that he uses to describe the punishment of the unnamed certain young man captured on the Mount of Olives with death. Winston used this device to notify the reader that he was deliberately mistranslating the Greek words Josephus wrote in order to render what seemed a more coherent reading. The Greek words he is translating as with death, kolesai, kolesos. First word, Kolasai. Next word, Keleusas. Kolasai, kolesos. I still probably screwed that up. Are translated literally as commanded to be pruned. Pruned is, of course, a word that describes a gardening activity. Thus, Titus did not order the certain young man to be put to death, as Winston's translation reads, to be pruned, a word used quite logically on the Mount of Olives. Kolesai was used by the Greek naturalist Theophrastus in the 4th century BCE to describe the pruning necessary to cultivate wild plants. His work on plants was often referenced by individuals from Titus's era, such as Pliny and Seneca, and specifically covered the process by which wild olive trees could be transformed into cultivated ones. Theophrastus was the scientific ancestor of Pedanius Dioscorides, the Roman scientist and physician who accompanied Vespasian and Titus to Judea and was a key part of the theme of dark comedy concerning the root and branch. This use of the word prune to describe the fate of the certain young man is a part of a broad satirical theme within the New Testament. The leaders of the Jewish rebellion were used as the historical tree onto which Christianity was grafted. Paul's description of Christianity being grafted into Judaism below is part of this root and branch theme. Notice that Paul states that it is an olive tree that is to be grafted onto, the olive tree being, of course, the tree that would be pruned on the Mount of Olives. Quote, "For if God spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore the goodness and severity of God on them which fail severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shalt be cut off. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For God is able to graft them in again. For if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in." End quote. And that's Romans 11:21-25. Josephus continued with his vegetative theme by making a bleak joke regarding pressing. Notice that the beginning of his description of a capture on the Mount of Olives above, Josephus states that Jews were pressed by famine. This use of the word pressed by Josephus satirically links his passage describing a Mount of Olive capture with the New Testament's version of a Mount of Olives capture. The garden J.C. wanders into while on the Mount of Olives is called Gethsemane, an Aramaic word that is usually translated as olive press. However, as Klausner points out, the word is difficult and may also be related to wine. Beth Shemeneah is a name used in the Talmud to describe a hall of wine and oil. Quote, "And he said unto them, This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. Verily, I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until the day that I drink it anew in the kingdom of God. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives, and they came to a place that was named Gethsemane. And he spoke to his disciples, Sit ye here while I shall pray." End quote. And that's Mark 14:24 through 26 and verse 32. We have shown that J.C.'s calling his flesh bread is satirically related to the cannibalism that besieged Jewish rebels engaged in. Hold on. Oh, okay. I think I just read it too fast. We have shown that J.C.'s calling his flesh bread is satirically related to the cannibalism that the besieged Jewish rebels engaged in. Likewise, the description of J.C.'s passion in the Garden of Gethsemane is a lampoon of his giving of his blood, which he describes as wine. Quote, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. End quote. And that's Luke chapter 22, verses 42 through 44. Naming the garden olive press, where J.C.'s sweat is compared to drops of blood, is also part of the satiric theme. However, the passage in the Gospel of Luke that contains the related darkly humorous image, that of drops of blood that spill from J.C. being like liquid squeezed from grapes or olives in a press, does not refer to the name of the garden. This must be gleaned from reading versions of the Mount of Olives tale in the other Gospels, which is the name of the garden. Hold on. This must be gleaned from reading versions of the Mount of Olives tale in the other Gospels, in which the name of the garden is Gethsemane. The derisive comedy of the four Gospels work together regarding J.C.'s passion at Gethsemane to show that the Gospels are not four separate testimonies of J.C., but rather a unified piece of literature with nothing inadvertent in it. All of their seemingly irrelevant or contradictory details have a purpose at the satiric level. In this instance, the authors have kept the black comedy from being too obvious by placing the word for a wine or olive press, Gethsemane, into one Gospel's version of the story, and the image of blood dropping from J.C. in another. Josephus then expands the dark comic theme in Wars of the Jews by placing a play on the word press in that Mount of Olives story. And so here it actually has a picture of a map during that time. So I'll let you take a gander at it. All right. Once again, only readers alert enough to combine elements from different versions of the same story can understand the sinister joke. Notice that this technique is consistent throughout. To understand the sardonic humor in Luke regarding Gethsemane, the reader must recall another Gospel's version of the same story. Likewise, the parallels between the two tales from Wars of the Jews above, which describe a certain young man being carried off, can only be grasped by the reader whose memory is sufficient to recall the first story while reading the second. The authors of the New Testament and Josephus created what might be called history's first intelligence test. That might be a title for the day. Hold on. History's first intelligence test. Okay. The consequence for failing it is belief in a false God. And we know, we all been taken by this, right? Ain't nobody know. Nobody knew, right? Until just now, recently, in the recent years, everybody figuring it out, that all of this is a farce. Some people still not ready for that yet, right? Let me just read this again. Likewise, the parallels between the two tales from Wars of the Jews above, which describe a certain young man being carried off, can only be grasped by the reader whose memory is sufficient to recall the first story while reading the second. The authors of the New Testament and Josephus created what might be called history's first intelligence test. The consequence for failing it is belief in a false God. I would also note that this vegetative theme regarding a Messiah captured in a garden named olive press or wine press may have been a parody of a Hebrew metaphor recorded in the Targum of the Messiah crushing Israel's enemies in a press. Rome's mock Messiah did not crush his enemies like grapes in a wine press, but rather was pressed himself. Quote, "How lovely is the King Messiah who is to rise from the house of Judah. He girds his loins and goes out to wage war on those who hate him, killing kings and rulers, and reddening the mountains with the blood of their slain. With his garments dipped in blood, he is like one who treads grapes in the winepress." End quote. And that's reference 104. The root and branch theme that the New Testament and Josephus create regarding the Messiah is remarkably clear. The olive tree that is pruned so that Christianity could be grafted in just happens to be on the Mount of Olives in a garden named Gethsemane, a word that means olive press. In this instance, the very names and locations give away the fact that the story is contemptuous comedy and not history. If the Romans did in fact capture Eleazar, the messianic branch of the Jewish rebels, on the Mount of Olives, it would have been the specific inspiration for this satiric theme. In chapter 8, my analysis of this vegetative theme concludes as Titus, called a gardener because he has pruned Eleazar, grafts himself onto the Jewish Messiah's identity and history. Hold on, let me read that again. In chapter 8, my analysis of this vegetative theme concludes as Titus, called a gardener because he has pruned Eleazar, grafts himself onto the Jewish Messiah's identity and history, and becomes JC. I will show in chapter 8 that this pruning of a certain young man, described so offhandedly by Josephus, is the fate of the real Messiah whom Christianity is based upon. To continue, the New Testament story of JC capture is linked to Titus's campaign in yet another way. The New Testament states that JC was captured within a garden named Gethsemane. In the version of his capture recounted in the Gospel of Mark, there is a character described only as a naked certain young man who, unlike JC, was able to escape from the attackers. Quote, "I was daily with you in the temple teaching, and ye took me not, but the scriptures must be fulfilled. And they all forsook him and fled. And there followed him a certain young man, having a linen cloth cast about his naked body, and the young men laid hold on him. And he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked. And they led JC away to the high priest, and with him were assembled all the chief priests and elders and the scribes." End quote. And that was Mark 14, verses 49 through 53. The description of the naked man has puzzled scholars. Why did the author interrupt his description of something as important as the capture of JC to record an event as irrelevant as the escape of an unnamed character? I believe that I am able to answer this question and also to identify this unnamed character. The answer comes from the fact that there was another naked individual who had a parallel escape from a band of armed men in the same garden. This individual was Titus Flavius. Once again, the New Testament and the Wars of the Jews each describe a conceptually parallel event at the same location: fishing for men at Gennesareth, demons at Gadara, a son of Mary whose flesh was eaten at Jerusalem, and, in the following passage, a naked young man in a garden outside the northeastern corner of Jerusalem who escaped from a band of armed men. Quote, this is a long one. It's coming from the Wars of the Jews. And I think after because I'm messed up on my time here, but I think we're about at the hour mark. YouTube normally kind of keeps that time running for me so I can see, so I don't go over. So I think I'm going to stop after this one right here. And then I'm going to take these 2 half videos down on YouTube, and I'm going to just upload the one from Facebook so it's not cut out. So your comments and stuff may go. Right, you're right, Aliyah. Yeah, that's how Yahuwah said it was going to be when his people wasn't there. It's going to be a home for jackals and wild animals, right? Okay. What you mean, sir? I'm hungry. Give me a moment. Okay. Quote. Now, so long as he rode along the straight road which led to the wall of the city, nobody appeared out of the gates. But when he went out of that road and declined towards the tower Phoenicius and led the band of horsemen obliquely, an immense number of Jews leaped out suddenly at the towers called Women's Towers through the gate which was over against the monuments of Queen Helena, and intercepted his horse, and standing directly opposite to those that still ran along the road, hindered them from joining those that had declined out of it. They intercepted Titus also with a few others. Now it was here impossible for him to go forward because all the places had... Okay.
How is the softness slippery?
Because you didn't hold on to it tight enough. Sit it up there on the stove, please. They intercepted Titus also with a few others. Now it was here impossible for him to go forward because all the places had trenches dug in them from the wall to preserve the gardens round about, and were full of gardens obliquely situated and of many hedges. And to return back to his own men, he saw it was also impossible by reason of the multitude of the enemies that lay between them, many of whom did not so much as know that the king was in any danger, but supposed him still among them. So he perceived that his preservation must be wholly owing to his own courage, and turned his horse about, and cried out aloud to those that were about him to follow him, and ran with violence into the midst of his enemies in order to force his way through them to his own men. And hence I may principally learn that both the success of wars and the dangers that kings are in are under the providence of God. For while such a number of darts were thrown at Titus, when he had neither his headpiece on nor his breastplate, for as I told you, he went out not to fight, but to view the city, none of them touched his body, but went aside without hurting him, as if all of them missed him on purpose, and only made a noise as they passed by.
Joe said I had to put these in the microwave. This is just too big.
Just sit it up there for me. Hold on, let me read this last sentence again. And hence I may principally learn that both the success of wars and the dangers that kings are in are under the providence of God. For while such a number of darts were thrown at Titus when he had neither his headpiece on nor his breastplate, for as I told you, he went out not to fight but to view the city, none of them touched his body, but went aside without hurting him, as if all of them missed him on purpose and only made a noise as they passed by him. End quote. That's Wars of the Jews 5:2 and 54 through 61. And we're going to pause right here, y'all, for today. Yeah, because it's going to keep giving the different instances of all the parallels. Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop today, right? Because I think we're about at the hour mark anyway. So let me put this right here. All right, y'all. Pick up here. Put my page 75. Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, y'all. So that was Caesar's Messiah, chapter 6, page 163 to 175. We read Zechariah 5, 6, and 7, and it is Saturday, y'all. September the 18th, 2021, day 262 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 931. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and do the blessing and get out of here. Jerry, shalom, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. All right, y'all. Like I said, so this video and the other half video that went up, I'm gonna take down and I'm gonna replace it with the full video from YouTube because of, you know, the interruption and it freezing and cutting off. All right. So any comments on these two videos, they're gonna go away. Sorry. But I don't want to have the split videos. And I know it's a way where I can merge the two videos. I'm gonna see if I can do that first before I just delete them and replace it with the one from Facebook. I'm gonna see if I can merge them. I know there's a way in YouTube Studio where you can do that, but there was some updates to it. Maybe I can do that before I just delete everything. That way everybody's comments and stuff will still be there. But if not, you will know. Because it's going to look like a brand new upload in a little while. All right, y'all. So remember, the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, first 21 verses is the Nazirite vow. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. That is it for today. Thank you, Adaya. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here because I'm still hot. My glasses, they still fogging up just a little bit around the edges. My body temperature, I guess, is cooling off. I'm starting to feel a little cool. I'm not as hot as I was, but I'm about to snatch this head wrap off. I'm going to go lay down for a little bit, y'all. And keep filling myself with juices and berries and stuff and all my my vitamins and stuff. Vitamin C, zinc. I got, look, y'all heard of Yah'ki? I got his 3 bitters. I'm about to put this on and start another cycle of the bitters. I ain't got time to be playing. Look, I was talking to my sister yesterday, and I'm not sure because
I put my pictures in the dining room.
Yay! I'm not sure if something has been released in the air, but I'm like, we ain't really been around nobody in the last few weeks for real. I don't know what is going on, you know, so I don't know. We always extra careful, washing hands, sanitize. Girl, stop. No, you're not. You calling me. You just calling me. Stop. Don't do that.
I'm calling Dad.
No, you're not. Because my phone just started ringing. All right, y'all. So, but yeah, yeah. Doing all my juices and berries and everything, making sure my body is doing what it needs to do to fight off whatever this craziness is going on. And plus, you know, the weather's changing and flu season and stuff it's coming around. But here's the thing, I don't ever get sick, ever, right? I may get sniffles here and there, but I always know we get the vitamins, and you know, it's normally like a day or two or whatever, you know. But something is a lot stronger, definitely, in the air. Because for a couple days, I've been,
Mom,
yes, baby.
I can end the video?
Yes, in a second. So, but I've been fighting it off for the last couple days. And I'm so glad yesterday was a Sabbath for real. You know, I really didn't do much of anything. When I did get back to the house, I was at my mom's house for a little bit. When I did get back to the house, I just showered and I just laid in the bed. Of course, I filled my body up with all my stuff, the stuff that I know I can take together, you know. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. So y'all be extra careful. Make sure y'all taking care of your bodies. Get a lot of fresh fruits and veggies in you, you know. Fast if you need to. You should have been fasting yesterday anyway, right? But fasting, when you get your body to a fasted state, in autophagy, like even if you just do short burst fast, right? Once you get to that 17-hour mark, from 17 hours to 72 hours of not eating anything, that's when the growth hormone and the healing hormone, the autophagy and the ketones, all that kicks in. That's when it's the highest, right? That's before your body begins to go inward and begin to eat all the extra fat, which is cool too. But to restore your health in those first 72, girl, would you stop? What you doing? Those first like 72 hours, that's when like that healing, you get that big surge of healing, the properties and stuff that your body begins to release. So if you do a few short bursts fast, it'll help your body heal a lot faster from whatever it is that it's fighting against, you know. So yes, she is. I'm about to put her down. She ain't gonna end the video today, sis. Doing the most. So remember, y'all, do fresh juices and veggies if you can juice them. They're way better than buying the store-bought ones. But they do have some places where you can get like fresh juice that is fresh. It hasn't been sitting on a shelf somewhere. That's the kind you want to get. Make sure you flush your body with the water. If you need the extra stuff, get some of the vitamins and stuff like the quercetin, vitamin K, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin D. Yeah, those are like the main ones. And I'll post it and I'll show you, tell you how much of each you can take. Yeah, I think those are all of them. Yeah, and just make sure you're resting, you know. So if your body fighting something off, go with what your body is telling you to do to rest. Because when you rest, that's when your body heals, right? Okay, so with that being said, y'all, yes. Oh, I'll share some fasting links with y'all. Dr. Mindy Pelez is really good. Yah'ki is good, but Yah'ki, he's a master herbalist and he gives you all the herbs and stuff. But what you'll find out if you get some of his healing herbs, and even if you can't afford his, he'll tell you what you can get so you can look around your local area and get it a lot cheaper, right? But even with his protocols and that he has, he'll tell you, stop, Bella, that what's gonna help your body the best when you're taking his herbs is water fasting. And sometimes because water fasting is hard for a lot of people just starting off, they got to get their mind together about it. They got to get their mind right. He tells you can juice fast, right? Or eat only fruits and veggies, he said, but they will work the absolute best while water fasting. So he'll tell you water fasting is probably one of the best ways. But since a lot of people, it's kind of too hard for them when they just starting out, especially if they're used to eating multiple meals all the time. He kind of worked with you. Okay, just cut it down to fruits and veggies. Girl, would you stop? Nobody want to see that. Don't lick your tongue out. Don't do that. Don't lick your shoulder. That's gross, sis. Thank you. Don't do that. I ain't laughing. So, let me get out of here. I'll share that stuff with y'all. I'll share 3 with y'all. Jerry, since you asked about the fasting. Dr. Lauren Lockman, he's a gentleman. I watch a lot of his fasting videos. Dr. Mindy Pelez, and they're holistic doctors too. They used to actually be on the medical side of things, but once they realized some medicines is actually killing people, they decided that they were going to go the holistic route and show people that you don't really need pharmaceuticals and stuff to heal your body, right? The bodies that Yahuwah gave us, they are very smart, they're very intelligent. Says, go get your lip gloss. They're very intelligent, and if you would just put them in the right atmosphere and prepare it, you can help it heal itself naturally. And it's a lot of people, they take a lot of different medicines and stuff, and you really don't have to do that, right? Anybody, no matter how rich or how poor you are, the best way to do it, if you can train your body, is water fast, and then it don't cost you a dime, right? Some people like to get the nutrients and stuff, and that's okay. But if you don't have the money, you can simply water fast. Even if you have a lot of different things going on with your body, or you taking a lot of different medicines, you will be able to wean yourself off. Even those with high blood sugar and diabetes and stuff, what's going to happen is when you water fast, your body is going to go within and pull the things that it needs, the things that it's not naturally creating anymore. It's going to figure it out. And what happens is your body literally rewires itself during the water fasting, right? But some people, you got to go slow. You got to do it in steps. You may not be able to jump into a long fast, maybe 24 hours. Sometimes people got to start, okay, we need to fast a meal, You got to work it up. So maybe I can fast 24 hours, only water. But do it in phases. But each time your body will heal more and more. I don't know. It could be your system. Nobody else said it, but I did cut off earlier today on YouTube. Sure, it'd be great if you weren't cutting out and in on every 2 or 3 words. Don't know what's going on. Might just be my system. It could just be your system. I'm not sure. Mom? Nobody else said I was going in and out. Yes, babe. Okay.
I love this.
All right. Okay, so, all right, y'all. I'll share that stuff with y'all. Let me go ahead and get out of here.
I'll do it.
And I will see y'all tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love y'all. Peace. Girl, what is this stuff you don't want to put on your arm? Come on. You just, girl. Let's go. End it.